Neimoidians, hello and welcome to another Neimoidian collection video. Now, I've talked about these, what I'm about to show you in the past. I've made numerous jokes about them, both on YouTube and elsewhere, and I've even showed, I suppose, what can be called the result of one, or rather, in its case, the prototype of one. So today, we're going to take a very quick look at the Nute Gunray and Rune Haako plaster moulds. Now, this was a European exclusive. To my knowledge, this was never released in America or outside of Europe. Now, for those who don't know, this is a fairly common thing to find for different franchises in Europe, is a plaster moulding and painting set. I had a Pokemon one growing up. I don't know where it's gone now. Could be lost over the years, could be in one of my many boxes from Colorado. So I'm not surprised they've done a Star Wars Episode 1 set. They even did, I believe they even actually did vintage sets. And I'll show you the box. I've actually shown you the box in a previous video with the Rune Haako prototype. But as you can see, it's a fairly large box. Mine is falling apart somewhat. That is the condition I received it in, so it is very little fault of my own. Unfortunately, after buying this, one appeared on eBay for less money that was in better condition. So, of course, it's just my luck. But as you can see, you get 4 different moulds in the set. One to make Sidious, Maul, Nute Gunray, and Rune Haako. I believe I saw this on a Danish website about 5 years ago, and I wasn't able to buy it at the time, so I just waited until it appeared on eBay. It took a couple of years. I don't believe I actually got this set until about 2013, 2014, thereabouts. Actually, it might have been 2012 now that I think about it. I can't remember. But the bit that does surprise me is that they actually did moulds for Nute Gunray and Rune Haako, but not battle droids. They might have done. I know they did a hero set. This is the villain set, as you can see. They did a hero set. I'm not 100% certain of who's in it. If I had to wager a guess, it would be Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, possibly Anakin, possibly Queen Amidala. I'm not sure beyond that. They haven't released these since, I'm afraid, to my knowledge. What you typically get in one of these sets is, and again, this is 16 years old, I'm reluctant to do anything with it. What you typically get, you get the moulds. These are the other 2 that come in the set. You get these stands, which the idea is you're supposed to connect them all together. They make a bit of a square, and then when these are actually filled with plaster, they sort of hang over the edge like that, over a glass or a stand or what have you, whatever you're using. Bit of plaster, 2 lots of plaster for that. A very rudimentary paintbrush. I'm gonna show you again the what one of these moulds is supposed to make, and I'll show you again why it's very unlikely you'll ever get anything like that, and why I think the model that I have might be the prototype. Very rudimentary set of paints. One of these actually fell out the other day in my bed while I was transporting this box, and I had no idea what it is, and I almost threw it away until I realised exactly what it was. I don't know where the other piece went. It might have been like that when I received it, but as you can see, it's a fairly rudimentary plaster painting set. It's plaster, just standard plaster of Paris. I've never made one of these, as you can see. I would be very reluctant to make one of these, given that the moulds themselves are about, 16, 17 years old, and I don't know if they would fall apart at the smallest touch of plaster. They are in remarkably good condition, though. They're nice and squishy, nice and malleable. They're not cracked, they're not deteriorating or anything. They feel absolutely perfect. Now, from my past video, this is, I believe strongly, to be the painted mould they actually used. Let's move this out of the way. Oh, even the inside is fragile. The painted model that they actually used for the box photography. I've made a whole video about this. If you haven't seen it yet, go check back through my videos. It's a fairly recent one. I very strongly believe this is the same model. The incidental marks, the incidental lighting and shading, it matches up perfectly. And not only that, but it's not actually made of plaster, it's made of a sort of resin, which I know that they actually make their prototypes out of. But either way, this is supposedly what the mould, the Rune Haako mould, is supposed to make. I don't have an example for Nute, I'm afraid, and as I've said, I've never actually made any of the moulds because I'm terrified that if I do, the moulds themselves will absolutely just deteriorate. This isn't a very easy set to find online, and when you do find it, I don't think it was the cheapest thing ever. I think I got this set for about £20, can't remember. And it probably doesn't sound like much, but it's £20 that I'd rather not throw away by attempting to mould these. But if I do happen to find another set of these, I would actually like to try making a few. One of the pieces of advice that was given to me was before and after each moulding to sprinkle the moulds with baby powder to keep them sort of soft and malleable and preserved and whatnot. I don't know if that will work. It's certainly worth a try. Not with this set, obviously, with a new one. But beyond that, there isn't too much to say about this. I've never actually turned these inside out, but just sort of looking, they do seem to be quite detailed. You've got all the folds of his robe, you've got his hand. I'm not 100% sure if this is actually the exact same mould. It seems to be about the same size. The model itself seems to be a bit taller, although I think you're actually supposed to do this. You're supposed to fold this bottom bit down to make a proper stand. And there we go, that actually works. I'm not going to risk that, actually, come to think of it. So, there you go. And yes, I am aware they look like condoms. Made one too many jokes about that online. But, yeah, as I say, I'd like to try and make one day. Not happening at the moment. But beyond that, there's very little to say about these, except I'm amazed that they actually made a Nute Gunray and a Rune Haako, and I don't quite know how they would expect anyone, and I know this is just false advertising or, you know, prototype photography and whatnot, but I don't know how they expect anyone to get something quite as good looking as that with the paints and the paintbrush that they give us. I mean, the paints are... That is clearly done in acrylic. Just looking at this is acrylic or model paint or something along those lines. There is absolutely no way, given the paints that were included in the box, that you could ever get something close to that. I mean, look at the details on Moulds' face and everything. There's no way you could do it like this. Really, the most helpful thing in this set is the moulds themselves. I would imagine... I don't know about now, but I would imagine if they were a bit younger, these could have been reused many, many times if cleaned and cared for properly after each moulding. Again, I'd like to get another set and actually try that for myself, because I think it would be actually quite fun to try and attempt to paint a Nute and a Rune with sort of my own supplies. As I'm sure you've seen from my customs video, if I've posted that yet. If not, it's going up next. I'm a far better sculptor than I am a painter, so it will be interesting to see what I can make. I'm tempted to just paint them, I don't know, tie-dye, psychedelic Neimoidians or something to that effect. Neimoidians on mushrooms, which would make sense. But yes, beyond that, there's very little to say about this. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and may the Force and Neimoidians be with you.